Well, welcome to Studio 8 here at Television Centre, where, as you can see, Eddie is on what we call a green screen, ready to perform. Something to do with the colour, or I don't really understand.
You're colourblind.
Absolutely, but I can still see that screen because it's the trail filming for the new BBC F1 season, and you'll see that on your television screens before long. But they're about to get going.
See where I see 606 up there? Can I take it as the lights or higher than that?
There you go.
What about fire escape? No, that's too high.
I don't know what he's talking about, but I generally don't. So let's talk then about the new 2012 season, and because Eddie's otherwise engaged, it's just the two of us, so it won't last as long as it normally would. Big regulation changes this year.
Yeah, a number of changes. Most obvious one will be the nose height regulation change, which sees the maximum height above the floor line of the front of the nose is 550 millimetres.
Yeah.
So what people are going to notice if they're tuning in for the first time in Melbourne is a very pronounced step where the nose joins the chassis, because the chassis height is not part of that regulation of where you actually set the minimum height or the maximum height for the wing. So we're going to see a number of different iterations across the teams. McLaren are the odd ones out. They've gone for a lower chassis top and they've sort of blended it in a more classic look into the front wing. So which one is going to be best over the course of the season? Time will tell. Other regulation change, we heard a lot last year about blown diffusers, and the regulations have now been changed where you're not allowed to blow the engine. And that means opening the throttles and basically allowing gas to pass
exhaust
through.
gas going through the diffuser, even when you're not accelerating.
Energising the floor and creating downforce. That's not allowed to happen.
And very quickly, that was banned for one race only last year at Silverstone, and Ferrari stole a march on everybody else they went on. It was only their only win of the season. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, then does that mean that Ferrari are going to have a natural advantage over everybody else? Well, they haven't looked great in testing, so maybe that's not the case.
Well, I don't think it is the case at all, because they've done one season of blowing the diffuser. They've done many, many seasons of not doing that. So the fact that Ferrari won that one race, I think was just, everything was aligned at that given weekend. For the rest, I think it's very much down to who's got the aero package working, and aero is always king.
Okay, and one other change is that the exhaust now has to be in a certain area on the car. Where's the best place, now that the exhaust gases are coming out of the side of the car effectively? Where do you want to channel those gases? Still through the diffuser or towards the rear wing? What's the plan?
Yeah, the more energy that you can get down into that Coke bottle area at the back of the car, because that's a natural sort of stalling point. The air as it passes around the chassis, you want to try and accelerate the air through between the rear wheels over the rear diffuser, and that energises and sucks the car to the ground. So different teams, different aero concepts. Then I don't think there's one place is one fit for all. But that'll be something that evolves during the course of the year.
Okay, and are we seeing a situation where there's more onus on the drivers now because of these changes? They're getting less help from the car sticking to the floor?
Well, you'd like to think so, but actually
never the
there's
case.
So much downforce generated by Grand Prix cars that it's always going to be about man and machine together, and therefore it's the technical exercise between the design office, the teams, and ultimately the drivers making best use of that.
And thankfully, one regulation that stays the same is that Eddie Jordan must be present at every Grand Prix for the BBC.
Indeed, as we will be at...
What is he doing?
He's looking for the lesser spotted intelligence of a Jordan.
Well, we can only hope that when this is edited and ends up on your television screens, it makes perfect sense. Eddie, a round of applause. Quality work.